Well, this next song has a story to it. Imagine that from me. It's a true story. I didn't realize that this song was written about an actual gentleman until about, I guess, 10, 20 years ago, something like that. I went up to Chicago, Chi-Town, the Windy City. We got to go into a little pool hall, and it was owned by Mr. Big Jim Walker. So this song is actually somewhat true. Uptown got its hustlers, Bowery has got its bums, 42nd Street got Big Jim Walker. He's a bull-shooting son of a gun. He's as big and dumb as a man can come, but he's stronger than the country hall. When the bad folks all get together at night, you know, they don't call Big Jim Boss just because. And they say you don't tug on Superman's cape, you don't spit into the wind, you don't pull a mask off that old Lone Ranger, and you don't mess around with his Jim. Do-do-da-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Well, out of South Alabama come a country boy. I said, I'm looking for a man named Jim. I am a bullshooting boy, my name is Willie McCoy, but down home they call me Slim. I've been looking for the king of 42nd Street. He's driving a drop-top Cadillac. And last week he took all my money, and it may sound funny, but I come to get my money back. Everybody said, hey Jack, don't you know that you don't tug on Superman's cape? You don't spit into the wind, you don't pull the mask off that old Lone Ranger, and you don't mess around with his Jim. Do-do-da-dee-dee-dee-dee. Well, the hush fell over the pool room as Jimmy come walking in and off the street. The gun was down the only sight that wasn't bloody was the soles of the big man's feet. He was cut in about 100 places, and he was shot in a couple more. And you better believe I sung a different kind of story when the Big Jim hit the floor. Oh. And they say you don't tug on Superman's cape, you don't spit into the wind, you don't pull the mask off that old Lone Ranger, and you don't mess around with his Slim. Now this is the part of the story that becomes true to my heart. A few years ago I played in a duo. We called ourselves Tropical Penguins. It started off as a 7-piece band and ended up all the way down to a duo, so we won't go into that part of it. The women didn't like being called penguins because they kind of waddled across the stage, and they didn't like that, you know. So the guy that ended up being in this duo with me, he was an ex-Navy SEAL. And I don't know if you've ever been around one of these guys, but they're kind of nuts. So we're up in Chi-Town playing a gig and walk into Mr. Big Jim Walker's pool hall. Well, Darby walks up to Mr. Walker and says, hey, I'd like to see that cue stick. I said cue stick, but it's cue stick. That's so made famous that song. And he says, come on to the back room, boys, I'll show you that cue stick. While we're in the back room, he pulls out that cue stick. And it was in this really cool case, made out of solid walnut. The case itself was lined with a velvet in a color that I'd never seen before in my whole life. But what fascinated us most was this little Hawaiian doll at the bottom of the case. Kind of shook around and danced around. You didn't have to do anything. Didn't have to put on the car dash or nothing. It just was going shaking crazy, and we just thought it was really neat. Darby looks at me and goes, I want that Hawaiian doll. And I'm like, man, this is Mr. Big Jim Walker. You don't know who you're messing with. You better not even think about it. Next thing I know, I look down and Darby's got it in his hand. He's running out the back door. Well, I ran out the front door. I was throwing cue balls, cue sticks were coming through the air and everything else, and I just jumped in the truck. Drove that thing as fast as I could down the block. I'm doing 50 miles an hour. Darby's running right beside it and jumps right in. I was so scared I never let up. And all the way down, back down to Cincinnati, we're doing 75, 80 miles an hour in this van. And I don't know if you've been in Cincinnati lately, but back in 1960, this guy came through and he sold them 175,000 orange barrels, and they're going to use them until every one of them is gone. So because of that, traffic was at a complete dead stop. I'm doing 70. I hit the brakes. We slid for 575 yards, 316 inches into the back of a 53-foot trailer truck. I look at Darby and I'm like, I can't believe I just did this. And this guy gets out of the truck. He looks really cranked off. And I said, Darby, I said, man, I'll take care of this. I walked up to that man, looked him right in the chest, and I said, my buddy Darby wants to talk to you. So I go back to the van. I said, you're dealing with this guy. I'm not messing with this at all, you know. So I see Darby go up and wanders up. Next thing I know, they're rolling up their sleeves. And I thought, oh, this isn't going to be good, you know. So I get out, I walk back up to him, I said, what's going on? Darby goes, man, check out this guy's tattoo. Because, you know, Darby was an Army SEAL, Navy SEAL. He had a lot of tattoos, and they're showing each other's tattoos off. I said, what's this got to do with this wreck? He goes, well, check out his tattoo. I said, why? He said, you won't believe what it says. I go, what's it say? It said, you'll turn on Superman's cage, spit into the wind. You don't pull the mask out that old Lone Ranger, and you don't mess around with a dude that's got a little Hawaiian girl in the back of his truck. Sling.